How's it going, class? So, I hope that this message is finding you well. I know that I've been pretty sick recently and haven't been able to communicate with you guys, and you've been dealing with a sub recently, but I just wanted to touch base with you guys for a little bit. I know that the sub has gone over some stuff with you guys, but one thing that I know that we haven't gone over is credible sources. I know your guys' big projects are coming up, and one of the key elements to finding or to your getting a good grade is your sources and whether or not they were reliable. So I thought I would go over this video lesson with you guys so we can kind of find out what a credible source is and how you can find out which sources you can use in your projects. Okay? So first we're going to move on to this first link. Okay, so I'm going to click on it. Now, what do you guys first notice about this link? Our example today we're doing is Abraham Lincoln. Would you guys think this is a credible source? Why or why not? I'm going to scroll down slowly. I know that the little box kind of cuts off the ends there, but just do your best. Don't necessarily focus on the information. Kind of focus on the layout, focus on the spot. Do you see any companies you might recognize, like any news companies, or do you see anything like that? Do you see an author? Do you see anything like that? Me here looking, I don't really see anything like that. This kind of looks kind of unprofessional, honestly. It's very brightly colored. Looks like there's a bunch of ads everywhere. I don't see any author. I don't see anything like that. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a credible source or not? Well, if you guessed that source was not credible, you are correct. Like I said, so there was no author listed. So if you're looking for your website and you want to know if you can use it in your research or not, the first thing you should ask yourself is who wrote this? Can I find out who wrote this? Who is willing to put their name on it? Who's going to stand behind this information? Okay. Another thing you're going to want to look for is when was it published? If you're going to write an article on, let's say, I don't know, Facebook, you're not going to write an article from 1985 before Facebook was even invented, right? No. You're not going to also look for an article. That was a bad example, excuse me. You're not going to find an article that was written before Facebook was invented or something like that. You know what I'm saying, guys? Also, what you're going to want to look for is, does the source that the website gets the material from, is it trustworthy? So let's go back to this website real quick. We're looking on this website, and I don't see any source. Like, I don't see any news network. I don't see anyone that is going to sponsor this website's information. So what that tells me is that anybody who wanted to just say anything could just go and type up a bunch of information about Abraham Lincoln and put it on the internet. We don't know if it's true because we don't have anyone to confirm it. So I would say this is not a credible source. Okay? So now let's go. Let's try this source. Now, what do you guys think about Wikipedia? Do you think this is a reliable source or not? I mean, I see a bunch of information. Looks very official. What do you guys think? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. One thing that I think that is most important you guys should take away from this lesson is this. Wikipedia is not a reliable source. This is because Wikipedia is a public encyclopedia, which means that anybody at any time can just get online. They can just put any information they want on it. It doesn't have to be true. There are people who check for its accuracy, but that doesn't mean that they're always going to be correct either. So I could go on right now and say Abraham Lincoln was 10 feet tall and had purple skin. And it would be on there. And anybody who was writing a report or anything like that or doing a project like you guys, you're going to go on and you're going to see that and think it's true. So if you guys use Wikipedia as a source, I'm not going to accept it as credible. So just remember that. Alrighty, so now that we've seen some examples of what non-credible sources are. Let's see what a good source is. So I have here 4 examples of what we call a credible source. So let's start with this one. Now this is a source on Abraham Lincoln from whitehouse.gov. Okay, now this is obviously going to be a credible source because it was written by the White House. Okay, so you see the .gov in the corner right here. What this means is that it's a government website and the government's run it. So you can trust that the information is correct. Okay. Now we'll go to try this one. Historynet.com. Now this one also is credible. You can see here all this information, and then you can see down here where it's most important what you're going to want to look for all the way at the bottom right here. So Charles M. Hubbard is the Dean of Lincolniana and Associate Professor of History at Lincoln Memorial University. Also, it says this article was originally published in August 1990 issue of American History magazine. So this tells me 2 things. One, that there's an author who's willing to stand behind it, and the author was a professor of history, so that's obviously very good. And 2, the article was published in a magazine originally, and popular issue magazines are often very credible sources that you guys can use. All right. Let's go to this one. So this one is from Northern Illinois University Libraries. Okay. So these are libraries put on by the university, or by Northern Illinois University, and and it's got right here that .edu, and so what this says is like any website that is put on by a university is going to be credible. They're going to have credible information on here, and you're going to be able to use that in your research. Finally, I have this one here from the Library of Congress, which also, because it's a .gov and the Library of Congress is a government institution, you can trust that this information is correct. All right, guys? Cool. So finally, some things that we have to keep in mind. Boom. So for a credible source, you come to an article and you're like, is this source reliable? Ask yourself these questions. Can you find an author? Is the reliable source internet? Think .edu or .gov or anything like that. Those are very good. .org is another good one as well. Is the information recent? A general guide, if you're working on something modern, was it published in the last 10 years? Also, how much information does the website actually have on the article? Excuse me. Does the article have on the website? The more information that an article has, the better, because, that just shows the more time and effort that was put into researching the topic. Something you're also going to want to look out for is the information bias. Definitely with this recent election cycle, especially on Facebook, I know a lot of you guys are on social media, you see your friends or your parents friends pushing those articles from Facebook from those websites that are really biased either towards Republicans or either really biased towards Democrats. It's important to know that information is not credible because a bias is what that information is not credible because it is biased. And basically what a bias means is that the author of the article has a certain opinion on the matter and they're going to let that influence their writing. So in writing that is credible, it's all objective, and that's something that's very important. And also, finally, you need to remember Wikipedia is not a reliable source. All right, guys, so now that you've got this basic rundown on credible versus non-credible sources, I want you guys to now go off, do your own research, and I want you guys to email me each 5 sources for your for your projects by next Friday, and then I will determine how credible they are, and then we will go from there. Alrighty, in the meantime, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.